Hello, students. How are you today as we continue our whirlwind tour through December, which is just feel like it's moving so quickly for me. So let's get started. For our do now, I'm asking you to please respectfully answer the do now prompt about understanding facial expressions. It's especially challenging to us now that we're all wearing masks. Our objective is to continue working with those mixed number multiplication problems. They're going to get a little more challenging today. And our essential question, why should we convert mixed numbers to improper fractions before we multiply them together? Our assignment will be to watch today's video on mixed number multiplication. And at the same time, we'll complete the worksheet. I suggest that you do them together and watch me do a problem or two to jog your memory on how to do it. And then try a few on your own, then watch the video, try another couple, and then watch the video. We don't want to do a whole page unless you are absolutely sure that you know how to do them, because you don't want to do a whole page of mistakes and then have to go back and correct everything. And meanwhile, if you make a lot of mistakes, you're teaching yourself incorrect form in math. So always check as you go along. That's a great strategy, but always try some on your own first. And you guys are so good about that. You're brave learners, and I really appreciate that. For our exit ticket, so we'll complete this sentence. When I multiply more than two numbers together, I do not need to work from blank to blank because multiplication is blank. And we will talk about what this sentence means as we move through the lesson. Remember, please show me your work at the end of the period. You can do that with just turning your camera on and holding your work up to the camera. I love that. Or you can take a photo, and you can take a photo with your Chromebook, or you can take a photo with your camera, cell phone camera. And I've explained to you guys, if you load Teams onto your cell phone, oh my goodness, it is so easy to just take a picture and upload it. But any way that works for you is great. I just want to see how hard you're working. Hard work is a joy to both of us, isn't it? For homework, anything that you haven't gotten done in class, you can finish that up for homework. Remember, full participation credit. Make you proud, make me proud. Have your camera on during our discussion at the beginning of the period, and at the end, just as a goodbye and to show me your work. Remember to respond when your name is called. That could be at the beginning, middle, or end of the period. That way I know you're there. And show your work on camera, as I said, or send a photo to my email, which is right there. Please check PowerSchool for missing assignments, okay? We had a really important survey yesterday I wanted you to complete. Please, please, please complete that, because incompletes become zeros, and your grade is very negatively affected when we see those zeros. So it looks like I've lost there we go. Little tech issue there. You guys have been terrific. I love the way you've smiled through all the tech issues. Okay, another tech issue. Let's just move on. So today, I don't know if any of you have any friends who are Jewish or if anyone in our class is Jewish, but today is a Jewish holiday. It's the first day of Hanukkah. So if you have a friend who's Jewish, go ahead and wish them a happy holiday, a happy Hanukkah, excuse me, and ask them to tell you about this beautiful holiday. There's beautiful, beautiful story behind the holiday of Hanukkah. And if you know someone who knows that story, ask them to share it with you. It's just a lovely story. Or if not, look it up on the internet. It's a great story. So as promised, today we're going to talk about faces. And we're talking about faces in every class today from a slightly different point of view. But here we're saying faces tell a story. How will recognizing the teacher's facial expression help you be a better student? And if you are in tune to your teacher and you're working, or you're kind of kidding around or whatever, and your teacher has an expression of just kind of joy or contentment, you know that things are going well in class. You know your teacher is happy with the pace of the learning. But if you see a very worried look on your teacher's face, you know that something's wrong. Maybe everybody's not getting it. Maybe your teacher is trying to say with her face or his face that, hey guys, we need to get it together here. We need to start focusing. Or maybe your teacher is concerned with her own teaching that, oh my goodness, I need to show them this skill in another way because they're not getting it this way. So I need to figure out another way to do it. So it's, reading the teacher's expression is important too. We have to read your expression, but it's important to read our expressions too, because it kind of gives you an idea of how the class is moving along from the teacher's point of view. And if you can read the teacher's expression, that will certainly help you be a better student. So I'd love you to write a sentence or two about that. And we'll get back to our exit as we always do at the end of the period. So let's work with this mixed number multiplication, okay? And I see we have 3 factors to multiply together. Now, it doesn't matter the order we do these in. We're looking at number 1 because multiplication is commutative, which means that order does not matter. But as we start these problems, we are just not going to be able to, unless you write very tiny, we're not going to be able to get all this work done on this paper. So I have another worksheet for us. So let's get started with that. So number 1, we have 3 factors. We have 1 3/4 times, Mrs. Gold likes to use the dot because I'm getting you ready for algebra, times 3 3/7 times 2 1/5. Okay, first thing we need to do is convert these to improper fractions. Mixed numbers we can't multiply together. So 1 3/4, I'm just going to work right below now because we've done this a few times. 4 will be our denominator. 1 times 4 plus 3. And 1 plus 4 is 4, plus 3 is 7, 7/4. Okay, 3 3/7. 7 will be our denominator. And we'll have 3 times 3 times 7. And we do that first, and then we add the 3. So 3 times 7 is 21, plus 3 is 24. And then our denominator will be fifths. So it will be 2 times 5 plus 1. Again, our denominator is fifths. 2 times 5 is 10, plus 1 is 11. So let's work with, I think we're going to work with the first 2 numbers here. Remember, multiplication is commutative. I could have worked with the first and third number first, but I'm going to do it this way. So I'll start up here. 7/4 times 24/7. And let's do some simplification. 7 divided by 7 is 1. And 24 is a multiple of 4, so 4 divided by 4 is 1. And 24 divided by 4 is 6. 6 times 1 is 6. 1 times 1 is 1, which equals 6. So now we're going to take the 6 and we're going to multiply it by the next fraction. 6 over 1 times 11/5. And I don't see any way that we can cross simplify, so I'll just multiply across 66/5. And if we divide, we have an improper fraction, so let's make it a mixed number for our answer only. So 5 goes into 6 one time with 1 left over. We bring down the 6. 5 goes into 16 13 times because 5 times 3 is 15 with 1 left over. 13 1/5. So that's our final answer. But I do know that we're going to need to get back to this 66/5. Let's highlight that. We're going to need that for our next problem. So let's go ahead and write our answer, 13 1/5, on our paper. I think I need to use a darker color so you guys can see this a little better. And I'll put that here as well, 13 and 1/5. So we have 13 and 1/5 times 5/44. So number 2, 13 and 1/5 times 5/44. Well, we need that 13 and 1/5 to be an improper fraction, which we already have from our last problem. So let's go ahead and write that down. 66/5 times 5/44. So I immediately see that the 5's can cancel. And 44 and 66 are divisible by 11. So they're also divisible by 22. Let's make it easy for you guys. I think you know the 11 times table. So 44 divided by 11 is 4. 66 divided by 11 is 6, which is 6/4, which we can further divide the numerator and denominator by 2 to give us 3/2. And we know that 3/2 is 1 and 1/2. We've done that a lot. But let's go ahead and highlight the improper fraction because we'll use that in the next problem. So our final answer here is 1 and 1/2 for number 2. And we'll write that on number 3. And let's go ahead and use our scrap paper for the number 3. So number 3, we have 1 and 1/2 times 2 and 2/5. Now we already know that the improper form of 1 and 1/2 is 3/2. So 2 and 2/5 would be, let's convert it to an improper fraction, 5 times 2 plus 2, which would equal 5 times 2 is 10 plus 2 is 12, 12/5. So now the 3 and the 5, I cannot simplify, but the 2 and the 12, 2 is a factor of 12. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 12 divided by 2 is 6. 6 times 3 is 18. 5 times 1 is 5. And if we divide 18 by 5, 5 times 3 is 15, with 3 left over, which is our numerator in our remainder fraction. So that would equal 3 and 3/5. And again, I'm going to highlight the improper fraction because we'll use that in our next problem. So let's put our answer 3 and 3/5, which we'll also put here, 3 and 3/5. All right, let's move on to number 4. Again, I think we'll use our scrap paper, our note paper. Okay, so now we'll work on number 4. We know, well, let's convert the first fraction to an improper fraction. So we have 1 times 4 plus 3, which equals 1 times 4 is 4 plus 3 is 7/4. And 3 and 3/5 we already determined is 18/5. So 7/4 times 18/5. Now 7 and 5 cannot be simplified, but 4 and 18 are both divisible by 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2, and 18 divided by 2 is 9. 9 times 7 is 63. 5 times 2 is 10. 63 divided by 10 is 6. 6 times 10 is 60. And 3/10. So our mixed number is 6 and 3/10. And our improper fraction is 63/10. So let's go ahead and write 6 3/10 in our answer for number 4. And looks like we have a problem in number 5 with 3 factors. So we're definitely going to be using our scratch paper for that one. So 8/9 times 6 3/10 times 2 2/7. Let's use the blue for Hanukkah. That's the color of Hanukkah. So 8/9 times 6 3/10. Now, let's go ahead and use the improper fraction version, okay? We already know that's going to be 63/10. Times 2 2/7. So we just need to convert the 2 2/7. 7 in the denominator, 2 times 7 plus 2 in the numerator, which will be 2 times 7 is 14 plus 2 more is 16. So it will be, we'll start with the first, we'll start with the first 2 numbers, and then we'll get to their answer for this, and we'll multiply it times the 16/7. So let's start with 8/9 times 63/10. Now, 2 is a factor of 8 and 10. 8 divided by 2 is 4. 10 divided by 2 is 5. 9 is a factor of itself in 63. 9 divided by 9 is 1. 63 divided by 9 is 7. When we multiply across, 7 times 4 is 28. 5 times 1 is 5. Now, that's our answer here. We're going to take that and multiply that by 16/7, which is the improper fraction for 2 2/7. And 5 and 16 are not factors of each other, but 28 and 7, 7 is a factor of 28. 7 divided by 7 is 1. 28 divided by 7 is 4. 16 times 4 is 64. 5 times 1 is 5. So let's figure out, this is our our improper fraction, version right here. We'll use that in the next problem. But let's go ahead and figure out what the mixed number is for 64/5. So we'll take our 64, divide it by 5. 6 divided by 5 is 1. 1 times 5 is 5. Bring down the 4, and we can get 2 5s in 14 because 2 times 5 is 10, and 14 minus 10 is 4, which is our numerator. 12 4/5. I did not write that very neatly. Let's do that again. I can do much better than that because you do. 12 4/5. There we go. All right, so let's put that on our paper. 12 4/5. And that will go in problem number 6, which also is a problem. We've got 3 factors, so we're going to be a little bit of a challenge, but we're up to that. So we've got plenty of paper. So remember, we're going to use the improper fraction version for the problem. So number 6, instead of writing 12 4/5, I'm going to write 64/5. Times 3/8 times 1 1/6. So we'll start with these first 2. 64/5 times 3/8. And 8 is a factor of 64. So 8 8s are 64, and 8 times 1 is 8. We multiply across. 8 times 3 is 24. 5 times 1 is 5. Now, this 1 and 1/6 will convert to an improper fraction. 1 times 6 plus 1, which will equal 1 times 6 is 6 plus 1 is 7. 7, 6. And I can simplify because 6 is a factor of 24. 6 divided by 6 is 1. 24 divided by 6 is 4. 7 times 4 is 28. 5 times 1 is 5. Now that is our mixed number. We'll use that in our next problem. But let's convert that to, that is an improper fraction that we'll use in our next problem. Let's convert it to a mixed number. 28 divided by 5. So we know that 5 times 5 is 25. If we subtract, we have 3/5 left over. So that would be 5 3/5. And let's write that on our paper. Remember, we will use the the mixed number version is what we put as our answer here, but we'll use the improper fraction version to actually do our multiplication. So number 7, which is 1 7/8, times, and let's use the mixed number, 28 over 5. So we'll convert 1 7/8 to an improper fraction. 8 will still be the denominator. 1 times 8 plus 7 equals 1 times 8 is 8, and 7 more make 15/8. So multiply 15/8 times 28/5. And 15 and 5 are both divisible by 5. So 5 divided by 5 is 1. 15 divided by 5 is 3. 8 and 28 are both divisible by 4. 8 divided by 4 is 2. And 28 divided by 4 is 7. Multiplying across, 7 times 3 is 21. 2 times 1 is 2. And as a mixed number, 21 divided by 2 is 10, because 10 times 2 is 20, with 1/2 left over. So that's our final answer as a mixed number, but we'll keep this improper fraction here because we'll use it in the next problem. So 10 1/2 is our answer for number 7. Okay, number 8. How you doing so far? Staying with me? We're going to use this 21/2. So number 8, 21 over 2, or 21/2, times 2 1/3. And let's convert that 2 1/3 to an improper fraction. So it's 2 times 3 plus 1, which is 6 plus 1, 7/3. So 21 over 2 times 7 over 3. 2 and 7 cannot simplify, but I can simplify 3 and 21 because 3 divided by 3 is 1, and 21 divided by 3 is 7. When I multiply across, I've got 7 times 7 is 49, 2 times 1 is 2. So that's our improper fraction, which we will use in the next problem. But our mixed number version of 49 divided by 2, 4 divided by 2 is 2. 9 divided by 2, 2 times 4 is 8, with 1 left over. So that would be 24 1/2. And we'll write that here. And we have 24.5 times 2/9. So for number 9, instead of writing 24 1/2, I'm going to write the improper fraction, 49/2 times 2/9. Now, you may find this hard to believe, but 9 is not a factor of 49. 49 is divisible by 7, but not divisible by much else except for 1, not divisible by 3. So all I can do is simplify the 2's. 2 divided by 2 is 1. And when I multiply across, I have 49 divided by 9. So there's my mixed number, 49 divided by 9. So let's calculate, there's my improper fraction. So let's calculate the mixed number. So we'll have 49 divided by 9. Well, we know that 9 times 5 is 45. When I subtract, I have 4 left over. So that's 5 4/9. So this is our answer, is a mixed number. Here's our improper fraction. So I will write 5 4/9. And we don't trust this, we verify this. So it's a big problem. Let's go ahead and get started. Number 10. We will go ahead when we get to the 5 4/9. We'll use the improper fraction form to make our work a little bit easier for us. So number 10, last problem. 3/14 times the answer from the previous problem, which we will put as an improper fraction, times 2 6/7. And we'll end up changing that to an improper fraction. Let's start with the first two factors. 3/14 times 49/9. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 9 divided by 3 is 3. 14 and 49 are both divisible by 7. 14 divided by 7 is 2. 49 divided by 7 is 7. Multiplying across, we have 7/6. Now, let's convert 2 6/7 to an improper fraction. 2 times 7 plus 6 in the numerator. 7 times 2 is 14, plus 6 is 20/27. So we'll take our answer that we have so far, 7/6, multiply it by 20/7, and we can certainly simplify that a bit. 7 divided by 7 is 1, and 6 and 20 are both divisible by 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3. 20 divided by 2 is 10. Multiplying across, our answer is 10/3, and we know that 10/3 is equal to, well, let's divide and let's show you. 10 divided by 3 is 3. 3 times 3 is 9, with 1 left over, so that's 3 1/3 as a final answer. And let's check our paper, and it appears that our answer checks. So, quite a lot of work today. Let's go back to the exit ticket. When I multiply more than two mixed numbers together, I do not need to work from left to right. I can mix it up and work them in any order because multiplication is commutative. Remember, division is not commutative. We had to work that left from right. But multiplication, we can do it in any order and we will get the same answer, provided that our calculations are correct. Wow, lots of hard work today. These are celebration bubbles. Why not? I'm so proud of how hard you're working. I know distance learning is a challenge, but you've all risen up beautifully. Remember, it takes practice. There's no magic to math, just practice. And with practice, you'll be great.